I'm the owner of From the Ashes Gaming. We brought Flesh and Blood in at Monarch First Edition.
I'm Chad. I have been playing Flesh and Blood since Tales of Aria release.
I'm Nigel. I've been playing since Everfest.
I'm Jeremy. I've been playing since Arcane Rising First Edition.
We are Flesh and Blood players from South Central Pennsylvania at From the Ashes Gaming in Warnerville, Pennsylvania. We have and are striving to support and grow the Flesh and Blood community the best way we know how.
To help grow the community of both experienced and inexperienced card game players and gain interest in the game we love so much, we run monthly Learn to Play events at From the Ashes Gaming.
Our last Learn to Play event was a massive success. We filled every seat that we had. We worked with each other to make sure starter decks were available, and we gave out and we raffled out play mats and sealed product from our own collections.
Our weekly Armory events regularly bring in 12 or more players. They're always free to play. We are also dedicated to running new player events once a month. These events are designed to help you pick your first hero, upgrade your existing heroes deck, or just get engaged with the local community. Check for our events on From the Ashes Gaming's Facebook page or on FabTCG. We hope to see you soon at 600 East Penn Avenue, Warnersville, Pennsylvania.
We look forward to seeing you and sharing the greatest game in the world.
Thanks,
Thanks.
So guys, Chad E., the owner of From the Ashes Gaming in Pennsylvania, he's been running all these play events, and he just reached out to me because we met in the Pro Tour. He showed up on a previous FaBled Hunters video as well, because he was the guy that opened up one of the Arcane Rising packs in the New Jersey Pro Tour.
Chad, what are you doing? Losing money? Let's do it.
And he's just like, hey Saint, you've been helping out so many regions. Like, we helped out Vietnam, mini polo games. We just helped out Lucas in Brazil, helped get Brazil jump-started. We're also working on Mexico, and we'll be working on Japan when Fab launches in Japan. I'm familiar with Sato and Haruruya Games. If they ever need help, I'm sure we'll do a drive to help them out. But for now, let's just go help out a store from the good old US of A. He said any bulk will help, so I've got literally 3 and 8, 3, 7, 11 complete play sets of Uprising. Thankfully, this was left over, and I'm going to send these 11 play sets courtesy, cost, shipping, everything included by the FaBled Hunters, and I welcome all the viewers in the community to send whatever bulk they have to help build the Pennsylvania Flesh and Blood community. Let's help out Chad at From the Ashes Gaming. It's the least we could do. He was one of the few LGSs that reached out from America, and let's help out our fellow domestic Flesh and Blood scene. All right? Thanks, guys. Enjoy the episode. All right. Welcome to FaBled Hunters.
I'm Yanji,
I'm Saint.
and today we're gonna be opening some.
Don Julio 1942. As is customary,
Yes.
at the end of the year, we are both having a drink and reviewing our highs and lows from the year. Maybe
Yep.
even doing an episode review. So, Genji, cheers.
Cheers.
Some really good stuff. All right.
Where to begin? So the very first video that we did in 2022,
Scammers on eBay.
scammers on eBay.
That was a bit of a flop, honestly. It was just me, I think, just recording, talking about eBay having a lot of scams. I thought it would be new to the Fab community because it's been going on for years in Magic. You know how the scammers, I think they're Asian and Russian scammers, they just are foreign. Let's just say they're from foreign countries. They come up with these scam listings, and their idea is they basically pull pictures of very valuable items.
Yeah.
For our community, it would be like a cold foil heart, a cold foil eye, and they would simply just, list it. And I don't know, they just try to get listings, and they try to get the listing to stick. And then I think their goal is they want the listings to go up. They won't ever send anything, but they'll get the listings to go up. and once they stick, they get funded by eBay before they actually get paid. Then they get funded by eBay. The person that won the listing and paid files a chargeback, and eBay returns the money, and then the person making the listing's already gone. So it's basically a long-winded form of credit card fraud. But the reason why it kind of fell flat on its face was because I think like a lot of the viewers were like, "Oh, tell us something we don't know." Like, hello, why don't you go, get a megaphone and tell more people? It's like, hey, I'm just trying to help because this is new in the world of Flesh and Blood. It's obviously nothing new in Magic or Pokemon. Yeah. But that's how we started. Then what else? We had some other episodes.
You had some episodes with Fluke.
Okay.
I think you guys were just like kind of sharing your collections.
Yep.
And having like honestly, it's kind of like a podcast. It's like an hour.
Yeah, it was a little bit. It was
like
it was
an
2 hours. Yeah, it was two hours. It was two parts.
2 hour long episodes. Oh, this was interesting. You did the Alpha charity break.
Yes, the Alpha Starter charity. That was Christmas time at Channel Fireball.
Yes.
I had literally caught COVID in the offices of Channel Fireball on that trip, and then contracted it and brought it back to my family. Yes. So that but we did open up a force field and open up 2 alpha decks, and we raised something like $115,000 for charity.
All right.
So that's pretty good.
We did some openings with Ada.
Yes, that was one of our last
Everfest.
Ada openings in February or March, I think.
Yeah.
Right? And we spoiled Everfest.
Yeah, Everfest, I think every time I think we open a booster box kind of early, it's always been pretty nice. I think everybody nowadays when they do the spoiler season, I think they usually control it a little bit more so that like certain individuals always get to open it. But then you've also been the beneficiary of that, where I think the last time at Worlds, you and Chris Ayers got to open some Dynasty.
We did, and that was kind of spicy.
Yeah.
Right? We got to open Dynasty with Chris Gehring to cap off the year in terms of spoilers for the year, right?
Yeah, and then so I think like most of the time when we do these like spoiler videos for booster box, it's always kind of a hit. Everybody's always very excited whenever new sets are coming out.
I think so, and I think it's core to our identity. Like, opening stuff is core to what we do as Fabled Hunters.
Yep.
Right?
I agree.
And we really appreciate LSS giving us multiple opportunities this year to open up a whole bunch of stuff. And hopefully we will keep the streak going and we'll be allowed to for future sets.
Yep.
Yep.
You had a spicy WTR opening. I think you got a legendary in this one.
A spicy WTR opening, I think that was a tunic, right?
Yeah.
There's a tunic opening, but we had many spicy openings. We had an opening with J-Dubs, right?
Yeah.
Literally at Pro Tour 1.
Yep.
And we would have gotten so many more views if a certain other box opening content creator didn't spoil that content. Fluke and Box. And then we also had the Worlds opening, which we encouraged Fab Unsealed, or Chris Ayers, to stream it. And that got like 8,000 views. So that was really, really huge. And we got the Feindel's Tunic, the foil E-Strike, the regular E-Strike, the cold foil Ironrot Helm. Yeah, that was such a box. That was pretty amazing.
I think as a channel we have moved away from doing as many box openings, and I think we had this conversation a while ago where I think at the beginning when we first started Fable Hunters, you were
only opening.
Yeah, well, you were telling me how you had like this much like alpha WTR lined up to like open for the channel.
Yeah.
And I think I told you at the time, I was like, honestly, like I don't think that like just opening like WTR is going to be that,
it's not that productive exciting, and
too much of a good, it's like too much of a,
it'll
just
get
becomes
played
like normal.
out. And I mean, I think naturally we just evolved as a channel about what we're going to do and what's interesting to you, what's interesting to me. We started doing what's interesting to both of us. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I think there's always a time and a place for WTR openings. I think when you have them at like events, if you guys were at got a chance to watch any of the footage from Worlds, or if you were there in person, I think like there's still a lot of excitement around opening WTR.
Yeah.
But I think for like videos on it, it has to be kind of like at an event, I feel.
Yes, it just hits that much harder when there's stakes. There's some stakes.
It's kind of like there's like a stage. There's like a stage. There's like a stage for you. You're there. You're like in a like literal audience of people.
Yep.
And everybody gets like super excited. The energy is completely different.
You're absolutely right. And if we had opened up we've done 208 episodes. If we had opened up a WTR every episode, or sometimes two, like we'd be out of WTR already. And that's not what the viewers actually want.
Yeah.
Probably we want to have supply of WTR to open in 2024, 2025, right?
Yeah.
What else? What else did we have? We have a lot of videos.
We didn't get, I think besides the first box of Everfest.
Yeah. Our Everfest got delayed, right? There were delays in Everfest.
Yeah. So we just opened
some... It was still due to the Omicron early on in the year, right?
Yeah, so we just opened some Crucible.
Yes, there was a Crucible box that we were opening.
We opened some Alpha.
We did.
Oh, this was an exciting one.
Oh my god.
The FaBvengers.
The FaBvengers assembled! That's right! Where we were teasing what was going to go on our special Valentine's Day episode.
Once, I remember I came over to your apartment and you're like, Yonji, I have the best idea for the video. And you're like explaining to me, and I was like so confused. I was like, what do you mean? Like, who's going to be on this? Like, what are they going to say? Yeah, like, oh, look, like Tall Timmy's going to say this. And I'm like, I don't really.
I don't get it, man.
And then, like, but I think we found a way. We put it all together. I think it was pretty cool to see a lot of different creators in the community kind of get together.
Yeah, and we were just spoofing on each other and
put together something.
Yeah, not taking ourselves too seriously. Yeah. And it was, in my opinion, like the most well-known content creators that are native to Flesh and Blood, and our godfather, the godfather of Flesh and Blood himself, Rudy. He was making fun of me at the very beginning, and then he had his recurring cameo throughout the rest of the video.
Yeah, and
I think we both got complimented for that episode for keeping a straight face.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a 30-minute, batch opening on Snatch.
Yeah, 30
it was a Snatch batch.
30 minutes of Snatch.
30 minutes of Snatch. That was a good 30 minutes of Snatch. I had the most fun for that episode. I would re-release it every Valentine's Day, but let's see it. It's not February 14th, 2023 yet.
Yeah, and then we finally got Everfest.
Yep, we did.
I think this is like the first time that the next video you submitted to PCG.
Mm-hmm.
PCG, I think US was still starting out.
It was still starting out.
And I don't know, like at that point in time, you were a little bit unsure about grading companies. You were definitely not really happy with Beckett.
Still not. That's changed though.
But at
that time, yeah, it was still a rough environment because Beckett was still a year delayed. They were backed up until July of this year.
Yeah, so I think looking for alternatives, you gave PCG a shake, and I think you put together one of the largest submissions just to have them kind of like you guys were like beta testers.
Yeah, we were basically the guinea pigs for PCG US.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at that time, I think the surfaces were still a little too stringent because they were overly strict. Then they went overly loose for a couple months, and then right now, towards the end of the year, as of December, I think they're going back to the mean where they're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So they're tightening up standards.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of incredible how far PCG has come, even within the course of this year. I think now, have they already released the metal?
They just released metal labels like December 1st week.
Yeah,
literally
and you were
2
talking
weeks before filming.
I think you were suggesting that even at the very beginning when you received this batch back.
Yes, I was suggesting that they should release metal labels, and they took that to heart, and they rolled it out by around September, October in their APAC headquarters, as well as their Australia offices, as well as their Malaysia office, and then as of December, I believe the U.S. offices have adopted the metal label, so that was good. What else was there? What we had a.
This was an interesting. I think this was the beginning when Holly was first like, you gotta get the shit out of here.
You gotta get the crap out of the house
Yeah.
or else. And then 2022 was when I started my storage unit, right?
Yeah.
And that storage unit has just only grown. And we have one final deposit where before New Year's, Holly wants to have some people over the house. So she's like, this whole corner, we won't show you, but you've seen it in the background. There's still a lot of flesh and blood, and there's like 20 cases of Weiss Schwartz just sitting in the corner.
Yeah,
she wants us out of the house.
We did a nice video on how you can store long-term sealed product, and I think it was one of the better performing videos because usually whenever we provide something that I think a lot of people haven't like really been talking about, and I think as a channel it's difficult for us because we don't film as often as
we film ahead of time thinking what are we going to release 2 to 4 weeks out from the day of filming.
And obviously that's due to how our schedules are aligning.
He's got a very competitive and filled weekend competition schedule for Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
I've got, a family and multiple businesses to manage, so we have to literally schedule 2 weeks in advance to meet at one day, and if one of us gets sick or a flight gets delayed, then everything goes haywire, but we have that buffer. So that's just the way our lives are, and this is not literally the focus of either of our lives. This is not our full-time job.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to accommodate a certain way.
But I was going to say that since we don't film regularly as a channel, I think it's more difficult to stay always like on top of like the cutting edge of like everything that's going on.
That's fair.
But I think that whenever we release like something that's I think useful to the community that maybe like other people aren't really talking about because they're trying to like stay on top of everything, usually I think those videos are usually
they perform rather well. I would say.
Good.
Yeah, when it's a little different from what everybody else is doing.
Oh, this episode, the Fab
promos for days.
Was that the one where you were going over some promos? I think you ended up sending some to Vietnam.
We did. And Dane was supposed to send us a video of the happy faces in Vietnam. He never did. Dane Lance, from Mini Polo Games in Vietnam. He basically was the guy that got Vietnam on the map as a official LSS Flesh and Blood store.
Yeah.
Flesh and Blood recognized store. So we had helped, and we bought promos from an LGS that died in the US, and we didn't resell, we didn't profit off the promos. I kept a lot of promos for myself, and I sent a stack of cold foils over to Vietnam so that he can help build and we can help support the organized play community in Vietnam after they became established.
I actually ended up, when I went to Calling Singapore, I stayed with a player from Vietnam. And I think hearing his story about what the community is like over there and how there's a lot of different challenges than what we face in the US. So for example, in Vietnam, it's really difficult to get players to want to play anything other than Blitz just because card availability is really hard to get.
Okay.
And so anything that is done to kind of help bring more card availability to that region is like really appreciated. It's just like, I think it also gives me like a lot of appreciation for what we have in the US in terms of, I think if I want to play like CC, then either I will be able to get the cards or I'll have a friend who has the cards, and they're just not take that for granted.
Absolutely. I've always said that we have an embarrassment of riches here in the US, and I never grow entitled. I wake up always thankful that I live in a democratic country that's as resource packed as this country. I could have been born in one of 220 other less fortunate countries, but I wasn't. So, yeah. There's the OB story, right?
Yeah, so you and Open Boosters, you want to talk, like, what did you guys do? You guys opened a box of alpha.
Well, the reason why I gave him the boxes alpha is because we had both not known the value of some unlimited graded assets at the time.
Yeah.
I still have those unlimited graded assets, and they've since dropped significantly. But I think we did a 6-figure trade. It was the low 100s, like 120, 130,000 of value both ways.
Yeah.
But we had both undervalued some of the unlimited Magic the Gathering assets by about 5 or 6K or whatever it was, maybe $4,000. And at the time, early in 2022, Welcome to Wraith Alpha was still in the 3s. And I was like, I don't feel good about this, Dan. Let me just make it up to you. Here's a box of Welcome to Wraith Alpha. And he's like, that's great. Let's open the box together. And we opened the box. I think this was the box where he was like, oh, this pack is the box topper. Let me put it out in the middle. And we opened the 23 packs, and the box underwhelming. And then the 24th pack had the Coldfold Tunic. And that was just epic and appropriate, because I basically gifted in that box, and he hit, a top 10%, right? Top 10% or 5% box. Like it was an A box, and he was really happy, and that it made for a great story. It was a feel-good story. Oh, wait, there's exclusive swag, right?
Yeah. So this was the mail day. We kind of dragged it a little bit. Yeah, because
we first did the mail day, and then there was 2 boxes, and then we did the episode of the 2 boxes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So this is something I think that we've been liking to do. Every time we get something nice from LSS, we always kind of want to drag it out a little bit.
Just a little bit. Not always, though. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And sometimes we go the other way, and we just make a nonchalant episode, and we throw it in there.
Yeah.
Later on. But this episode, we split it into My Mail Day plus LSS, right? The LSS goodies.
Yeah, and I think that this was right before the eve of Pro Tour 1, and it was really cool that, it was cool that you got the items, but I also feel partially it was due to convenience. James needed a staging location.
He did.
Yeah, for the item.
Hey, but I ended up with a Dawn Blade for my troubles, right?
Yeah, so this was the kind of life-size models.
Yeah.
Or
there's the Winter's Whale.
Yeah.
Right? There was
Winter's
the 2
Whale.
Kodachis. There was
Anothos.
the Anothos. There was
the
Dawn Blade and the Luminaris.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the gun. The
Yeah,
Teclo
plasma
pistol.
Yeah, and then so these were all kind of items that they had you could pose with at Pro Tour 1. Did they give out any of them for the cosplay contest or anything? I don't remember.
They lent them out, and as far as I know, because I saw Olivia still using the Luminaris, they're still using all the ones that aren't broken.
Yeah.
I think the Winter's Whale broken too.
Okay.
Right? And the Anothos is still around as of Worlds. And I don't know what happened to Kodachis, but I saw the Luminaris, because Olivia, who cosplays Prism, she still had the Luminaris. Oh, there was when Barish visited us.
Oh, yeah, really cool guys.
Yes.
I
Chris
think,
and Steve.
Yeah, I think the video didn't do as well, but as some of the better performing videos, but I think it was still kind of a cool experience. The audio was really...
It was really bad.
really bad.
Yeah.
I think one aspect of making videos that I think that we could definitely always do better in is audio quality.
Yep.
Man, we even bought we bought some wireless microphones, but I don't think we've ever used them.
We tried, but it was just too much, wasn't it? And the quality wasn't that much better than filming on our iPhones.
No, we never used the full setup. It might still be at your office.
Okay.
We got a full wireless microphone setup. I don't know. It's one of those things where I think there's always room for improvement. But yeah, definitely. I think this video and some of the other videos, particularly that we shot in at your office, it's just I think being in New York City is very loud.
It's just rough. There's too much random sound. Even sometimes the sirens come all the way up.
Yeah, but really cool guys to shoot with. They make a great product.
Yeah.
And we had a really nice dinner.
I think so. We did. We had a great time. You got to kick Steve's ass right before.
It was so funny because this was right before I won.
You won Krakow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I played against him with Viserai.
Yeah.
And I mean I always I already knew that Viserai was kind of stupid.
Broken, yeah.
But the deck that I played against him was so much worse than the deck that I played at the calling.
Oh, yeah?
But it didn't matter because the hero was just busted.
It was busted, yeah. And he was playing Briar versus your Vix,
Yeah.
and I thought he was going to give you a run for your money until the second round, and then you just destroyed him, right?
Yeah, that hero is too stupid.
We got a lot of videos. What about AAA? Did you happen to review that video where I was in Chicago and I visited AAA and he did the interview about all his random collectibles and how Flesh and Blood was just one part of his portfolio? That was pretty cool to look at, right? Because he featured like $1 million of different various collectibles, and he's like, oh, Flesh and Blood, I love this because this is part of my TCG exposure. I've got coins, I've got cash, I've got comic books, right? I've got bullion, like literal physical bullion.
Yeah.
And
I think it always amazes me. I think before I met you and before we started shooting these videos, this is just like a world that I don't think I would have ever like gotten to experience like firsthand.
oh yeah?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like the friends that I have made in the past. It's just like it's a completely different world, and it's like crazy to see an individual like AAA. And we featured cards that are his in the past, like
We have.
pretty frequently. I would say that it's just kind of incredible. And to think that he doesn't only collect cards and he has
No,
like all this
that's
other
just-
crap.
Exactly. He does sports.
Well, it's
and
crap. It's crap to me, but to him, these are like great. These are
great artifacts, great pop culture artifacts. Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh, there was the Welcome Home USA. You talking about your gold foil,
yeah.
right? And bringing home the championship.
That was
as
pretty nice.
Taking it back from Europe before Europe won, the next few events. Right?
Yeah. But we got him in the end.
We got him in the end. That's right.
This was like my first real like major like success in terms of placement in Flesh and Blood. I think before this, you thought that I was always like joking when it came to like.
Well, I think everybody just likes to run their mouth. Like, you go to a poker game, a home game, everybody talks about beating each other and taking each other's money.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought this was more of the same. I thought it was just dudes becoming dudes. I didn't know you had championship potential. And then later on, you also had placement potential in the later Pro Tours and later major events and nationals, right? And you've got team members that have gone deep. And
Yeah.
You guys as a team are now striving for your next championship, which I have nothing but respect for.
Man, I still have so much more like space to grow as a player. But yeah, it was a really exciting time for sure.
Didn't I have a montage?
Oh yeah. We were getting you ready to play at the Pro Tour because you had to put together the three elements.
The 3 elements, yes. It was a little Rocky montage. It was demonetized.
Yeah.
Whatever that counts for. We only make like $2 a video anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun filming
the ice,
the training. Yeah,
the
ice, lightning,
the earth.
and earth, right?
Yeah, but
and the tunics, counting the tunics.
How would you rate your Pro Tour experience having like played in it?
Well, I went 2 and 4, and some people are like, well, yeah, it was an experience. You got your win at the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
For me, I would say it was a B+ feel. The only way it could have gotten better was if I had made more wins.
Yeah.
But I had a positive experience at the Pro Tour. It was an all-encompassing experience. That was just, me check something off the bucket list that I always wanted to do. I always wanted to be involved in the premier event in Flesh and Blood, and that was one of 3 events for 2022 that I was really happy to have attended.
Yeah, I think it was an interesting time. I think we got you as ready as you could have been.
Yeah, as ready as I could have been to prepare myself for potential high rolling of Starvo. I also revisited the solid liquid gas. If you guys haven't checked that out, those are fundamental concepts within TCG collecting. And I think it's always about the fundamentals. I don't talk about the day-to-day swings of trading card games because we try to make a lot of evergreen content outside of our box opening videos. So that was pretty solid.
I think this was the first time that I think the person who suggested this video, we ended up giving them a Herald of Protection.
I think so.
And it's just like it's like one of the first videos that we like really where Shane came to me and was like, oh, like a viewer had like a really good idea.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a pretty good experience to like do the videos in general. Like usually the videos, I think that if somebody is asking for it from the community, it's going to be something that people want.
Yeah, go well. What else was there? There's a lot of this. There's a lot of Pro Tour coverage, right?
Yeah.
Just like there was a lot of Pro Tour 2 coverage. There was the James box. That was pretty solid as well, right? There was we got the Uprising spoiler. That did really well. I think we had done the card justice because we received Kyloria, right?
Yeah.
And we had given the proper amount of attention and respect to Steve Argyle, who did that. We obviously mentioned the Liliana art. He's the father of Liliana.
Yep.
And what else?
Uprising opening, first box openings for a new set. I think always do pretty well.
They do rather well. Yep.
Yeah.
There was the Rudy D.
Oh,
video.
this video, I think you said that Rudy D said he personally got a lot of...
Yes, Rudy Diudane personally got a lot of exposure. It literally changed the trajectory of his career and his life. Not on our side, but Rudy Prime, Rudy Alpha Investments, mirrored that video, and he committed to showcasing Rudy D's playmats and shouting out Rudy D's playmats on like the next 3 Double Masters 2 openings.
Yep.
And as a result, even as of December, Rudy D is no longer to be found, like nearly unable to be contacted because he's still slammed by the amount of volume that he's gotten since June and July.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have too much business to accept additional business.
Yeah.
Is a great problem to have. And that's just an example of the power of community. Like, we know Rudy D, and I found Rudy D before he was in Flesh and Blood. I was like, Rudy D, you're so talented, you need to do Flesh and Blood playmats. And I introduced him to Rudy Prime, although They Came as 3 are what are the guys? Kozilek, Ulamog, and Emrakul. They Came as 3. That playmat basically made his career. He bought a car and changed his whole life off of that one playmat. He's still minting those playmats. That's how many orders he has 6 months later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's the power of the community that you shine the light on the right people and on the good people, and they get the proper amount of rewards.
Yeah, I think it's crazy because it just goes to show you that like it's hard to predict like when like your break is gonna come, right? Because Rudy D has always had like a pretty high quality
3 to 4 years
level of work.
He made Power 9 playmats and Black Lotus playmats for the longest before Fab was a thing.
Yeah, so he's been like, and he was like working on his craft and like improving what it is that he did.
He was a lifelong artist and illustrator for his whole life prior to making playmats.
Yeah, and then suddenly, like all of a sudden, like one video can just like swing everything. I think it just goes to show that I think success can hit you when you least expect it.
Yeah, when you least expect it. Because we're just carrying on as guys, and Rudy Prime, in that Rudy meets the Rudy in the North. Like, Rudy D was like, oh, come on, I'm ready, I can handle it. And he's like, later on, he's like, I didn't know what I was getting into, I couldn't handle it. But Rudy Prime did tell him, and that's the difference between a content creator with 300,000 plus subs and 30,000 subs. So, yeah, what else? We launched the long game.
Yes.
That was good. Financing your TCG journey, right?
Yes.
And guys, please support Yenji. That's probably one of our best decisions because we might only make like $2 or $3 per YouTube video. We still haven't gotten our YouTube check for 2022 yet. We still have not even received our first check. AdSense is such a pain in the butt. I'm not trying to bad talk YouTube, but they haven't sent us our pin key, and it's not a lot of money, but it's all going to Yenji anyway. So your support for the long game and for Yenji's quest to become the next Fab world champion is, it's meaningful. It's meaningful.
But at least I think for this channel, the money isn't
we're not doing it for the money. That's for sure.
But I think we launched the Patreon. I think eventually I hope to grow it into like something more meaningful. Like I like, speaking of never taking things for granted, like I never take for granted like the fact that you're like spending your time. Like we got to we're paying an editor to
and a marketing team
to work on the videos, and it's just like I would like to grow us into something that eventually can like not be net negative.
Okay.
And-
Sustain itself. But
Yeah.
I get my positive from the experiences and from the people that I meet along the way and from the Fab stories that I help. Like hearing that Rudy D story or helping that Rudy D story come together, that's priceless to me. And you know, being a recognized content creator at all three majors and having a part to play at all three majors is priceless. Having sent out those thousands of welcome decks and, you know, having people just meet me in person at any event, you know, telling me, hey, I got into Flesh and Blood because of you. I'm like, wow, thanks for letting me know. At least I know that all this work, all these hours aren't for naught. So we're making a difference. We're changing the fabric of TCGs. And so is every other content creator. We're just one part of the whole machine. We're not single-handedly doing it, but to add new stories to the TCG world and have new entrants come from other games. Again, certain bad dumpster fire 30th anniversary games coming into this ecosystem. I couldn't ask for more. That was the intent.
Wait for the 35th anniversary. Maybe they'll top it.
Maybe they'll do even worse than they did for the 30th, right?
Yeah. Maybe wait 5 years.
Yeah.
All
right. What else? Got a lot of videos to go through. There's the calling. You were at the team calling. I was at the team calling.
Yeah.
Right.
I got second.
I almost went in the money. If
Ooh.
8 teams got paid out, we were like team 9. And I actually went positive. I went 7-4-1 out of 12 rounds, and I got to learn under the tutelage of Dr. Tarek Champ Patel, right?
Yeah.
So that was such a great experience. That leveled me up as a Fab player immensely. I never had like 24 plus hours of getting instructed by one of the greats in Flesh and Blood, and he helped me see Fab in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And even that is not good enough for me to go pro at all, but it just helped me understand the game from a really, you know, much deeper level than, oh, I'm trying to do 40 to your face.
Yeah. I had this conversation with like a bunch of people in my course of playing competitively, and I think like the people who you meet and who you end up playing with have like such a huge impact on your personal like performance as a player.
Yep.
Because nobody who does well really gets there on their own.
Yep.
And you accumulate experience and knowledge and skills from kind of like playing and competing against like your peers, and to be able to be on a team with Tarek. Like Tarek is a great player.
Yeah, no, he's really good. To win U.S. champ and then Canadian champs right after.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
2x champ. Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think that the performance on some of these like other videos, like the Reinhard Dorinthia, some of these like other videos, it depends like what the length is. I think at first when I had a conversation with you last year and I said that I thought that we should be like a little bit more, I think, deliberate with the timing of our videos. It's somewhat, it holds, somewhat doesn't, because I think that ultimately it, like, how well the videos perform, a lot of it comes down to, I think, how genuine the experience is. So like you can have like a really genuine experience where you're just like railing at like certain companies, certain
publishers for like other trading card games
for like an hour, and then that video will do great. And then you compare, like you could have like a short like kind of like tight video, and it doesn't necessarily do as well. And I think it's just I've come to appreciate more that it's just about like like whoever it is that is subscribed or like who does watch, like wants to see like who you are,
Okay.
and, like how you feel.
Sometimes.
Yeah, and it's not always about like crafting.
Yep.
Sometimes it's just about like just being in the moment.
Absolutely. There was that graded video where I basically landed the only perfect 10s in Star Wars, the only one perfect 10 Black Label in Star Wars, and the only one perfect 10 in Flesh and Blood.
You had a nice story about the Star Wars 10.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did mention it. It did okay, 900 views.
Yeah, you had a big FU to certain individuals.
Yeah, to the people that call themselves the high-end graded collectors.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That always naysay.
Yeah.
And then that gets us to our segment, which I think has done pretty well, on and off, but, you know, better than most, which was last month today, which is obviously a riff off of last week tonight.
Yeah.
And we started it off with talking about the dumpster fire, talking about transitioning to Flesh and Blood 2.0, talking about a certain south of the border LGS as well as TCG podcast.
Yeah.
And that was well received, I would say.
Yeah, I think there's always a difficulty when it comes to trying to post relevant content.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of like our compromise.
Yeah.
Where it depends, like a lot of stuff happened this year.
A lot.
And so usually a lot of the months that we did, I felt like there were good topics to cover. I think that some of the impact maybe it gets lost because of the recency.
Yep.
Because like I think in today's day and age, like everybody wants to see it now.
If
they want to see it, they actually want to see it yesterday.
Yep. They want the news like immediately, and
Yeah.
Rudy gives you like twice a day live. Like Alpha Investments gives you up to twice a day live videos. Like he records it and then he uploads it, and you get that info that day of.
Yeah, I
right?
will say here's one thing that I kind of learned from Rudy since like the Magic like 30th whole thing is I know that Rudy does a lot of like pre-recorded videos and he releases them on a cycle.
Yep.
But when something like kind of monumental happens, he's just on it.
He's on it immediately because it's literally his profession, though.
Yeah,
right?
but I think that is something that I kind of admire.
Of course.
About how he will literally like he'll post like every single day.
Yeah, he will.
And
he will outwork anybody, and he said that on his videos multiple times.
Yeah, and so I think that is it's something to aspire to. And I mean
we found a compromise with last month today because of our schedules and because we say, hey, early in the month we're gonna record something to talk about last month and give you guys a monthly review.
Yeah, and so this is how kind of like how we're trying to address that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's our middle ground. What else was there?
Oh, our first we just shot a video about this.
Yeah.
LSS sent us some history pack.
Oh God, and he won big, and I left.
Saying hadn't agreed. You should have like maybe modified the term.
No, I wouldn't. No.
I meant like when you had initially proposed it. Maybe you should have done like.
I didn't do enough research. I didn't know what I was getting into.
Yeah, maybe you should have done that. You get the FaBled
and Marvels.
Yeah. And I would have said that's fine.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You did well. I'm happy for you that you did well.
Yeah.
But I still have the right to feel salty despite sticking with the agreement.
Yeah. So long story short,
he got everything.
There was no Marvel.
There was no Marvel. Yes.
To be fair, I think you had about like around a little bit like maybe like a 60-40.
60-40 chance of getting the Marvel?
Yeah,
like slightly higher than 50%.
No, slightly lower than.
Really? So 40-60?
Yeah.
So is it 1 in 10 boxes?
Yeah, I think that's about 1 in 10 boxes.
Okay, so hence 40% because we opened up 4 boxes.
Yeah. So
do your research, guys.
So I think the odds were okay.
Yeah.
But if it was any other bot like case, I think it wouldn't have been as salty, but it had an eye.
It had an eye in it, yes.
Well, it's okay. If it makes you feel any better, I use that eye. I play with it.
That's great. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, naturally speaking, there's a little bit of salt.
Yeah, but
we made up for it.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, we started our 60 case opening.
Dude, this is what I mean, like about like being kind of like just like genuinely us. Because I think like one of the reasons why people like first started watching FaBled Hunters is for box openings, and it's just for like the kind of box opening experience that like you can't really get anywhere else. People, for example, had a lot of when you did the Crucible first edition, like 10 or 20,
unlimited edition, 40 cases, something like that.
And then you like recorded all the data. I think like stuff like this, like there is a niche for it. And I think people generally do enjoy this type of thing. Maybe not all the time, but once in a while.
Well, there's the collecting video that did surprisingly well too. Collecting in the time of recession, that was a great video. Yeah. Right. And it performed even better than our mass box opening video. Right.
Yeah, but the mass box opening video is like an hour long, and it's like crazy to like even think that like this many people want to watch an hour long video. Just like us like talking about random ass stuff while like our backs are hurting.
Yes. It's really, really taxing, and it took us literally till the end of the year. What else? There's other good videos. There was the review of the Lotus.
I think this was like a pretty interesting video because it was a little bit of like introspection.
And saying, hey, look, we did poorly on the deal for now, right? And we'll look back at it, maybe not in 2023, but 2024, 2025. Yeah. Look back at it in 3 years, and who knows? Given the news, the recent news in Magic the Gathering, that same Black Lotus is probably worth 20% less. And Fab assets they're ticking up. Let me just leave it at that. I don't want to paint too much information because I'm still buying Flesh and Blood. So it's ticking up if you're paying attention. What else was there? Well, there was the...
Oh, this was, I think, really cool, where you kind of got, like, some first-hand...
Yeah, behind-the-scenes look in the New Zealand headquarters of BCG, and grading the first test heart, right?
Yeah, because, like, this is something that, like, not a lot of people have access to. I always find it really fascinating. I don't know what it is about, like, watching... people at work. I watch videos all the time. It's like the most mundane things of like people like I don't know, like soda packing like factories and do like a tour. I don't know if you understand the appeal at all. I don't know. It's like something
I just went in October to the headquarters of Coca-Cola, and I went to their bottling plant, and it is fascinating how the whole process works.
Yeah, and so I think this is kind of like our version of it, taking like a behind the scenes look at kind of how the sausage is made, how PCG does all the things. You know, like whenever a company says that they like have like computer technology or whatever. Yep. Part of me always feels like a little bit skeptical. It's like, are you sure it's not just like some guy who he just eyeballs it and then says like whatever, and then you can claim whatever you want. But like they actually have they put the investment in.
They did. They've got the equipment in there. Yeah. What else? There was Lille, which was a little more the same. It was a French twist on Pro Tour 1.
Yeah, I actually had so much fun at Lille.
You didn't get hit with bed bugs, though.
Yeah, Michael got hit with bed bugs in our Airbnb.
Oh, God. I took the hit for Team Dragon Shield.
We all ended up moving out of the Airbnb and then into hotels. But I think bed bugs notwithstanding, I think the whole experience of just like traveling to like a different part of the world.
You don't have a wife and daughter, and wife spending money at Hermes and Chanel. That probably made a big difference. Oh, we did sell Sloop Dupe. Fluke and I sold Sloop Dupe into Coming to Worlds.
He I remember was saying on, I don't remember if it was just like on Twitter or whatever, but he was saying that, and I think you also told me that it was his like first time ever flying. Yeah. And it's like crazy, and I think he overall had like a really positive, and this was the beginning of it.
It was
it all. What exactly did you say?
We were just peer pressuring him to come to Worlds.
So peer pressuring is a good thing.
It sometimes is a good thing. If it's for a good cause, we encourage you to peer pressure others to break out of your comfort zone. And we called him a wuss because Sloop Dupe is a freaking alpha chad, and he's like, I'm not a wuss, I'm an alpha chad. I'm going to show you all. And that's why we saw him at Worlds.
Yeah, and I think overall he had a really positive experience.
Yeah, there's some opening videos at Lille. There's more last month today.
Oh, Is this like gonna be like a recurring thing at every like you're just always cracking like some
I think so.
vintage packs?
Vintage packs. Yeah, people, they're like, they're being triggered. Guys, the definition of vintage is like it's a line. It's a line of product. Like a vintage is a run of champagne, a run of wine.
Vintage is like just like a
That's
year.
a vintage, or that's a year. And I'm saying that Welcome to 8th Alpha, Arcane Rising first, and Crucible up first. Those three are one vintage of Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
Vintage Flesh and Blood. Just because you MTG purists that think that only 93 to 98 or 93 to 2001 is vintage, and that was ancient history 20-something years ago, doesn't mean that there can't be a separate definition for vintage in Flesh and Blood. And I'm just going to be the first to say that the first three sets are vintage Flesh and Blood, and their pricing proves it. Read all you want. You can't change how I think about it, so too bad.
You were
Oh crap! I spoofed people on the hunt for the Grail, and some people got salty. They're like, so absolutely nothing happened, and the people that didn't understand the lesson, they're not gonna stick around for the reveal because I actually secured that asset, but we're gonna have to make a video in 2023 about it.
Yeah.
But it was actually, I think there was a learning lesson there, because sometimes things don't go how you expect them to, and you've got to figure out a way to hedge, mitigate, and compromise.
Yeah.
And the journey itself, me, the car breaking down, me going to Las Vegas, me making a new friend, me also learning about the complexity of that deal, and some misrepresentations. I think that was a worthy episode. And going to see a pretty epic UFC fight for free, that was cool too. But we'll get back into it. What else?
Gold foils.
Gold foils.
I think this was this the one where I opened the Courage like first.
Yes, and then it kind of went downhill after that.
Downhill.
Yeah. Oh, there was the innocuously inconspicuous monotonous mail day.
Yes.
Right. That was less than monotonous. We were trying to throw a twist in things, right?
Yes.
And that was the first ever feature of the Marvel Emperor, right? That was an
one
early
in 10,000 packs.
1 in 10,000 cycles, and the Takai of Ceremonies had sent it to us.
You know, I think it's always really cool when LSS like I don't know if they like intentionally. So like I've had first heard the 1 in 10,000 packs rumor from like a distributor.
Yeah.
And I don't know if LSS like intentionally like asked them to like say something like that, or if it was something unintended. But I do appreciate the fact that like they know that this is something that will get people talking, and they kind of like semi-confirmed it, or like they confirmed it with the letter that they sent us.
Yep. They confirmed it to the community.
And I think it's really cool that they are kind of invested in the player base on this level. I don't know if you follow like a lot of other TCGs heavily other than Magic, but like for example, I know like I don't know if this is like true like for Yu-Gi-Oh, but like I watched there is a new product that came out recently for Yu-Gi-Oh. It's called Magnificent Mavens. It's just like a set, like a small set. And I follow some Yu-Gi-Oh YouTubers just to like kind of like keep up and kind of see.
Yeah, you mentioned like APS and that.
Yeah, take some pointers. And APS did a video, and it's like Konami basically just sends them like the stuff, and they're like, "Hey, just like please open it on your video," and they don't send them anything else. It's just like that's it.
Oh,
like,
really?
Here's the boxes, and then they love Yu-Gi-Oh. They're honestly like very excited, but it's just like the level of company commitment to
just near apathy levels.
Yeah, it's just like here's the stuff, like open it.
It's still better than WotC, who's sending it to Yu-Gi-Oh content creators, who's sending Magic product to Yu-Gi-Oh content creators and Pokemon content creators and soliciting them, trying to bribe them to encourage, other communities, other TCG pockets to espouse like basically scam product $1,000 for 4 packs. Right?
I think the worst part of all of that was that I forget what his name was. There's like
Ruxin?
Was
it
it
Ruxin or Leonhardt?
No, I think it was Ruxin. I think he made a video, and then he got like a ton of negative feedback.
Oh, he got a lot of hate. Ruxin34.
And he didn't like I don't really blame him.
It wasn't his fault, but he didn't do his research.
No, he didn't do his research, but I think that like normally if you're in that position and like a company asks you to like review a product, whatever, like I'm sure like he's just evaluating it for like it's just like packs that he's opening.
Yeah, it's monetary gain. It's like, sure, I'll do a promotion. He didn't know how bad the product, how toxic the product was.
Yeah, and so
and speaking of that, that leads us to our best performing video of the year. Was Happiest 30th Anniversary MTG, when WotC treats customers as morons. And I truly believe in that. That's also the video that I personally probably got the most hated, because people are like, oh, you're so red-pilled, you're such a righty, or, you know, oh, who cares about your political beliefs? And I'm like, this has nothing to do with my political beliefs. This has everything to do with my experience with the game. If you think that my experience with the game leans left or leans right or leans middle or leans wherever, that's your take on it. And then that plus the last month today video about I think people are hating on me, saying that I was being racist or I was being prejudiced against certain peoples. It's not that I'm being prejudiced against certain people. Nor am I being discriminatory. I don't have a discriminatory bone in my body, other than, you know what? I enjoyed having the Black Lotus, or something that was really true to Magic, on my playmat for the 25th anniversary. I did not enjoy having, you know, any people or any stained glass or any rainbows. I didn't enjoy the 30th anniversary rendition. It was supposed to be something better than a Black Lotus. Maybe the Power 9. Maybe something really early on. Maybe just put on, you know, a rendition of the original art from 1993 to celebrate 30 years. Printing something that's 4 months old from Dominaria United is not indicative of 30. It's not a way to celebrate 30 years of a game. It has nothing to do with the LGBTQ community. It has nothing to do with the NAACP. You could literally put some yellow face with slanty eyes, you know, making pork fried rice or egg foo young or chicken, you know, orange chicken. I would hate it just as much, because that has nothing to do with 30 years of Magic. Just like the Banalion, whatever the heck that art is, has nothing to do with the first 29 years of Magic. That was my point.
Yeah, I think if it was like a game day mat or whatever, it's like whatever.
Okay, yeah, forget about it. But 30 years, you just ignored 29 years of history. You just ignored Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, Revised, Arabian, Antiquities, Legends, Dark, Ice. All of that. You ignored all of that rich history of Magic the Gathering.
How would you have felt if they had, like, for example, instead of doing like that, they had some piece of art that celebrated like the different like sagas? So like you have like the Brothers War, you have Weatherlight Saga, the stories up to like the New Planeswalkers. Then that's like encompassing.
Yeah, if you had something that showed the passing of time, some chronology, then I would have liked it less. I mean, there is no Magic the Gathering without the Black Lotus. And at least for the 30th anniversary edition, you know, they did the worst possible thing, but they at least recognized the beta printing of the set, right? They knew where to monetize. They knew what was important to the players, right? That obviously got the retro border,
Black Lotus.
Yeah, the retro border Black Lotus that is a proxy. You know, we can print proxy, says Wizards. Let's crack down on all the other proxy makers. You know, we don't want to get into another 38 minutes and 38 seconds of hate, but let's move on. But that was our best video.
You gave away some Crucible Unlimited bulk.
Yeah.
Actually, I got a lot of positive feedback, particularly from people who are on a Patreon.
Yeah.
Who really enjoyed getting it. And I think that this is another thing where some people might be like, well, who wants Crucible Unlimited bulk? Well, some people do.
Some people do, and some international parties did, and I sent it out internationally, and I mean, we make $5 a month per Patreon, and it probably cost me $20 per person, whoever wanted it. It was like 27 sets. 27 play sets, common play sets of Crucible Unlimited that I literally bent over backwards and was like standing up to sort card for card. Mint right out of the pack. So that was it was a good experience. I'm glad that 20 some odd people, almost 30 people got, Crucible Unlimited goodies. What else was there?
Your
Rudy 6.9 set?
6.9.
Yeah.
It's just quite an interesting product.
It was, and both of my products were skewed towards Fab. One was Fab/MetaZoo.
Yeah.
You. But that first box was pretty solid and it performed well.
Yeah.
Then we had some Worlds videos afterwards.
Yep.
Right? I like the swag idea thing.
Yeah.
Did you watch it? You said you watched it?
I watched it. Not like the best performing video, but you had some good points.
Yeah. And like they just gave out apparel. They just gave us socks, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of joking when I called socks like apparel, but
Oh, really?
I guess it is.
It is apparel, yeah. And they did that. The video was filmed before Worlds, so they had the Prism, right?
Yeah.
They had the Prism announcement. So that's pretty solid.
We did our Dynasty opening as the kind of the beginning of...
And that's when we put the Dan opening. So that just happened. That's performing rather well.
Yeah.
The last two videos are performing rather well. It's back in the upswing to close out the year.
Yeah, and so I think overall, what do you feel about FaBled Hunters this year, and how would you like to see it going into 2023?
I would say, 2021 was literally our first calendar year, and
Yeah.
we filmed for just about the whole year,
Yeah.
right? And we had to moving parts in and out because we had Michael, we had you, we had Ada, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that 2022, you were here wire to wire in our episodes, and this has been a solid year of us two, and we're in together as a team in 70 to 80% of the videos, which I've come to really appreciate because we both show different viewpoints,
Yeah.
different vantage points. You're ultra competitive player, nearly no interest in collecting. Me, 95, maybe even 95+% of my interest in Flesh and Blood is for collecting. Like at Worlds, I was literally at the Calling in Worlds, and I'm like, wait, free playmat with James' signature. Bye, Calling. I'm gonna go get this playmat. And I still think it was the right call.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's where my priorities are.
Yeah.
And we have contrasting viewpoints in terms of what we're prioritizing.
Yeah.
And I believe that brings in a pretty awesome dynamic. And I believe your point has always been valid, that we need to think about what's important to us outside of just opening boxes and carrying on. And I'd say that in 2022, 50% or less of our content is about opening boxes, right? Whereas maybe 20 to 30% is about collecting,
Yeah.
and maybe about 20 to 30% is about current events, thoughts, meta, experiences, right?
Yeah.
And we're blending it all in. We're both opening stuff and giving our viewpoints about opening stuff. You're like, oh, this card's playable. I'm like, this card's collectible, This cold foil is really nice. This is, good centering. This one's gradable. Whereas you've got the player side that you're putting in. I've got the collectability side. I've got the showcasing side where I'm talking about certain sets. And who knows? I mean, so far I've been trying to keep day-to-day monetary values of these cards a little out of the conversation as much, because I always thought that in the first 5 years of Flesh and Blood, if you like the game, you're going to collect because you like the game. You're going to be involved because you like the game.
Yeah.
Just like you probably think, if you like the mechanics and you want to play the game, you're going to be here to play the game, right? And we both supplement that player versus collector side of the game. But what else, man? What do you think about 2023 and FaBled Hunters?
I think for 2023, one thing that I would like to do is try to put together something maybe a little bit more organized in like kind of series. One thing that I liked that we did in the past is we made certain like themes for like types of videos that we would do. So for example, we do like a box video, then we do like a challenge, or if we are doing like a talking video like you did like last last month, today, whatever.
Yeah.
I think like more kind of defining certain types of videos, and then that I think will make the whole process for creating the video a lot easier for us, and then as well as our editor.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely have more topical videos.
Yeah.
And we got better and better, in my opinion, towards the latter half of 2022. And I think we hit our stride, and we've got some controversial topics, we've got some innovative topics, and we've got some just regular timeline, topical videos. Plus we've got our monthly update video, which occupies, hopefully, fingers crossed, our 12 last month today videos will occupy those regular time slots that are in the beginning of the month to talk about all of last month.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so looking forward to it, looking forward to the challenges, looking forward to 2 majors and who knows how many callings for next year, and looking forward to Outsiders, the coming sets, and I've got my fingers crossed. LSS, James White, please make 2023 the year of PvE. If you do that, then we will truly expand and be an all-encompassing trading card game.
Well, that was 2022.
Yep.
And here's to a great 2023.
Absolutely. I'm out of drink, but
Okay.
cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers. Empty glass. Cheers. Thanks for your support throughout 2022. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, support this guy and our content on the long game on Patreon, and remember to twiddle that notification button. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. You've sat through over an hour of our year in review, but I talked to your NG and he agreed to do it. I just wanted to give, a few minutes, could be 5, could be 10, might even go to 15 of real talk, because throughout the year there's been people thinking that I'm either on the left side. People got offended, or last year people got offended when I said some choice words about Mr. Trump. People got offended when I had other choice words about too much DEI in our media, and my thoughts about Magic 30. And I just wanted to say, I wanted to come out at the end of 2022 and say that if you think I'm on the left, if you think I'm on the right, if you think I have any dog in that race, then you are delusional, because I don't take any of those sides. And if you, the viewer, think that the right party is right or the left party is right, then you're crazy and you're very, very stupid, and you're falling for it. You're falling for the plan of the plutocrats and the people that actually own this country and control the world, because they don't care about you. If you're part of that 99% that buys into that narrative, then forget about woke, you're just completely asleep. Yenji, do you have any thoughts about that initially?
I think that I generally agree. It's just I've had a lot of conversations with people that I'm around, and I think nowadays everybody wants to put you on a side, either like with us or against us.
Yeah, and that's stupid.
But it's like, I think a lot of the things that we talk about, whenever we're approaching a topic, it's all about like finding like problems and solutions.
And thinking critically,
Yeah.
right? Think critically and think about what it really means. Really early on, when I was digging at Wizards of the Coast, early in 2021, late in 2020, and why I moved away from Magic the Gathering, people like, oh, you're just salty about Magic. You're just angry. And look at how many people are angry now, 2 years later, right? Like, the truth came out. They were exploiting your wallets, and here we are. This is meta now. Now the truth has actually come out. I saw the patterns. I saw the writing on the wall. Just like I see the writing on the wall. I see companies like Twitter supporting the right, covering up for the right, then covering up for the left. And then if Elon Musk didn't do what he's doing right now and expose everybody, if things were allowed to go, maybe Twitter would go to the right if the presidency leaned right again. And my whole point is not whether the right is right or the left is right. They're both wrong. They're both wrong for you. You need to think for yourself. You need to make your decisions for yourself. You need to think critically, and you need to come up with your own conclusions, because media is wrong right now. Media is controlled by the largest asset management companies in the world. The big banks are controlled by the largest asset management companies in the world. There's nearly nothing that is not at least partially or majority owned by companies like BlackRock, companies like Vanguard, companies like Fidelity, companies like Bridgewater Associates, companies like Blackstone private equity groups and other private equities, other hedge funds, other asset management companies. And all they want to do is they want 99% of you to fight amongst yourselves, not keep their eye on the ball, not be able to think critically, be angry at one another, be emotional, be occupied by whatever's going on in mainstream media, and, not focus on the bigger points where, holy crap, is BlackRock literally buying up some of the most real estate in the United States? Holy crap, is Bill Gates not owning tens of billions of dollars of farmland? What's he doing with that farmland? Why are the richest 0.001% of the world running literally everything? Why are all the politicians, why are all the judges, why are all the influential people in the back pockets of these multinational corporations? And I mean, I get a lot of hate. Me, St. Hung the individual, as a multimillionaire, I mean, forget about multi-millions. There are billionaires and trillionaires that nobody even knows about and focuses on. See, a good portion of the haters in the comments hate me for being a self-made wealthy individual. Meanwhile, there are people with ill-gotten gains in this world with hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars. I'm just decent enough to, be independently wealthy and feed my family and make sure that my kids go to a good school and I get to buy some cards. There are people that are literally, they have the wealth and the influence to destabilize nations or continents, and they're doing so right now. They're literally writing history and weaving the fabric of media and reality around you and, hypnotizing the masses.
I think it's also just like you said, we're trained to fight amongst each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm supposed to dislike people who are wealthier than me because it's their fault that there's inequalities.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just can we get to the root of the issue? What exactly is causing inequalities?
Well, there are about 20 to 25 companies worldwide that are sucking up all the influence, and nearly 20 to 25 companies probably represent 50% or more of the global wealth, or 20 to 25 entities. We can throw in China, we can throw in the government of Russia, we can throw in, those Saudi oil barons and the Saudi royal family, and the Apples and the Amazons and, the BlackRocks and the aforementioned companies, and they basically constitute the ruling parties of planet Earth in 2022, and they want everybody in the sub $1 billion bracket, which I'm a part of. I'm a part of the sub $1 billion bracket, to fight amongst themselves and keep the focus off of them. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just whatever. Your food is more expensive. Is it because Saint is buying cards?
No.
Or is it because of something else?
Yeah, there's larger influences. Your value is getting inflated away. You're still making $50 or $100 or $150,000 a year, yet things are 20 or 30% more expensive. Does that have more to do with what the multinational corporations are doing with their influence on the government and their hand is literally being on the scale? Or does it have to do with St. Hung in Manhattan buying flesh and blood cards? Right?
You're inflating the price of the hard to find dolls.
Oh, really? Oh no, the hard to find doll is going to infinity, right? No, that's not the case. Flesh and blood has actually gone down ever since that first purchase. I still hear about people hating on me for making that initial purchase, the Channel Fireball buyout.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, that entire buyout was...
I was just sitting there for a while.
Yeah. yeah, it was sitting there, then it went all the way down,
Yep.
and now it'll creep back up as the player base grows. Everybody, all the viewers, have had the last half of 2022 to buy those alpha boxes in the low 2000s. I'm still buying them in the low 2000s. I've bought them between 2,000 and 4,000, all the way up to close to 4,000. I paid 15 to 16,000. No, I paid as much as 18,000 for a case of Welcome to Wraith Alpha, a sealed case. So that is $4,500 for a box. So there you go, guys. I mean, it's there for the taking. It's there right now. It's at a low. Anybody that is there hating on me for purchasing my 100 cases way early on, you have the opportunity right now. There is no excuse for hate. The only excuse is you're not actually going out there and buying it when it's at its low. So that when alpha cases are $100,000 a piece, don't come to me. Don't hate on me. I've got nothing to do with alpha cases going up to $100,000 a piece. I'm just gonna buy whatever I see fit, and it's a free market, and that's what's important. It's a free market. You need to all think critically and make your moves accordingly. We are here trying to share some of our experience. We're not paid to do this, right? We're not paid to share our.
Not paid well.
We're not paid well. We're paid $1 or $2 by YouTube, and that's per video, and that's about it. And we're still not paid. As of the filming of this video, we still haven't gotten paid. YouTube is erecting different barriers to entry for us to get our AdSense.
Yeah.
Hopefully this hits 1,000 views, so instead of $2, maybe we'll be up to $3 or $3.50. Fingers crossed, everybody. All right. Is any last words, Renji?
I hope everyone finds ways to listen more in the future. Just talk less and listen more.
And hate less, or at least think first, think critically before you spew out any hate. Or if you have time to come up with bullshit, deprecating, negative comments, why don't you work on yourself first? For real, guys. All right, that's it from us. We out.